Bowtech Carbon X, a longer axle-to-axle carbon bow from Bowtech. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here with PodiumArcher.com talking about the Carbon X from Bowtech. So it looks like they reused their exact same carbon riser, redefined the limb pocket, and made a longer axle-to-axle bow, which I like to see. They did institute the time lock from the target bows into this new bow, and of course the deadlock system. However, unfortunately, they did not integrate the grip, and we don't have any new front features there. So unfortunately, some of the new things they're offering in the aluminum line aren't coming in the carbon line. That being said, I am excited to see this size of bow in this parameter. Let's measure some stuff and see what we got to compare. All right, our taggy here says this is a 25.5 to 30.5. I didn't look at these super closely, I should, but they may all have the same cam on them because they seem to have the same range. 33 axle to axle. 339 feet a second, 6 1/8 of an inch brace height, a 4.5 mass weight, which is kind of startling because that's the weight of the aluminum bows. It is a little longer, but not really. I mean, the SR is 33, if I remember right. Yeah. So it's like the same axle to axle as an SR. 50, 60, 70 pound peaks. So let's measure some of this stuff and hope that maybe that mass weight isn't an accurate number. All right. Start with our axle to axle of 33. And now this one's actually about 33. Let me get to there it is. 33.25. So a little long on that. Once again, I forgot to grab my board. It's between it. 3/16. Let me be picky. All right, let's see what kind of brace height we got. This should be 6 1/8. Yeah, I'd give it 6 1/8, between 1/8 and 1/4. So 6 1/8. See how much reflex we have. Oh, and I dropped my pen. Tight. This is not as appealing. It's over an inch. It's an inch and 3/8. Inch and 3/8 reflex. Okay. Oh, I didn't even measure the riser length. I didn't measure that. 30-inch riser and a 33-inch bow. Okay. Let's check some other stuff here. Our physical weight. Yep. 4.7, jostling between 4.7 and 4.6. So that is lighter, but this doesn't have the dampeners on it. So this bow probably does weigh 4.5 pounds without the dampeners. 4.5. So if you take off the rest, so that's 4.6 to 4.7. So yeah, this bow basically stripped. If you took either of the other bows and took their dampeners off, it is the same weight. So it's not lighter, basically the same weight. All right, let's see what our draw weight's at, and then we'll measure our draw length. Now, I will give them, yeah, this bow's not long for sure, I can feel it. 71.2. I will say that the weight is going to be distributed in a better spot because this clearly has a decent amount of weight to it, and that's probably where the excessive weight is coming from and why it's not lighter than the aluminum bow. And that will balance better for sure. So yes, it's not lighter, but it's probably going to point better because of that, because you've moved the weight away from your hand, much like a stabilizer would or anything like that. There it is. You still have the same integrated limb pocket system that really locks in place, so it's not going to move. until you loosen this screw. There it goes. Didn't pop, but I felt it move. Yep, there it goes. That probably isn't enough, but we'll see. 69.9. Hope you're happy, YouTube. All right, let's see how our draw length looks. All right. Set at 30 inches. Let's see what this little sucker says. So if anything, yeah, it's spot on 30 inches. That's great. Accurate number. I like it. Thank you for your honesty, Bowtech. All right, first thoughts, first arrows. 350 grain arrows, 70 pounds, 30 inches on the Carbon X. So compared to the SR, breaking into the back wall, this is way easier. But that being said, this cam is not maxed out. I'm going to emphasize that again and again and again, because a cam that's maxed out does not feel very good. It's hard to control, it's hard to break over. And we were just comparing the two, like this breakover is night and day difference, and these cams look exactly the same. Hang on. They have different laser etching on them, but we were trying to compare the shape and the dimension, and this looks like the same cam that's on the SR core, but it does not feel like it at all. But that could just simply be because it's set in a peg before the other one, because this bow goes to 30.5, and that one goes to 30. Yeah, it doesn't feel terrible by any means. Yeah, vibration, everything's similar, and we do not have the dampeners on this bow. Because it didn't come with them already bolted onto it, because it goes through here, we figured we would vibration test this bow without them, and then with them, so we can actually give you a comparison of how much you're losing when you put those on. Because they do add a lot of weight, so you'd have an idea of what you're gaining or losing by adding that weight. Okay, now we're going to test for vibration. First without the dampeners on it, second with. $12.51. Mind you, that's with no dampeners. $12.33. $13.27. So give it like a 12.5, which is higher than the other two, but barely. And it's still lower than any other bow we tested so far without the dampeners. But let's put them on and see if it gets better. Okay, so the reason we didn't have these on to begin with is because they don't come on the bow, and there's this sleeve system that goes into it. I figured since we're going to bolt them on, we'd show you how to do it in case some of you at home were curious. These are the orbital dampeners, the same ones that go on the aluminum bows, but you don't actually use this part. You pull the rubber off. You have to go in from this side, push it through. Over here, line up the triangle. Push it into the middle, which I think is about here. And slide this over the top. And then it's a 9/16 open end wrench. Just snug it up. And we'll do the other end and we'll give you a different result. Go and turn it off. Here we go. We've now installed the dampeners. Turn the record off. Turn it back on. Let's see how much less we get and determine if these things are even worth it. I will say the bow feels more stable almost instantly with that extra weight in there. It's more. Yeah. It's 13. $14. So I think the moral of the story, class, is maybe don't put those on because you're adding weight and apparently it's not reducing any vibration, which is ironic. So that's 3 of them, 1243. So yeah, you're not going to gain anything by putting them on. According to that, comment down below. I'm sure you're going to chew that up. All right. Now that we're done with the vibration tests, let's see how fast this sucker is. Here is 350 grain arrow, 70 pounds, 30 inches, Carbon X. 3 times, let's see. 332. And we're looking for 339. 7's not a bad number. 334. 333. So you get a 333. All right, let's see what some heavier ones do. All right, now for some 450 grain arrows and some 550 grain arrows. $295. $293. $296. So we'll give you a $295 average. Shoot the other ones. 550s. $267. $268. $269. So 268 average. All right. Okay. Draw cycle. Now that feels way more like the SS. I can't give it a 5, but I'll give it a 4 because it does have a tiny little bit of a hump. The grip is phenomenal. I love that shape. I love that angle. It's the same as the adjustable one. It feels the same, so I love that grip. I'll give it a 5. The back wall is great and solid. I will give it a 5. The balance is really good. I'll give it a 4. The brace, the weight, physical weight is 4.5, but remember, these are opinion categories. For a carbon bow, that's heavy. You're getting a 2. 33 inch axle to axle. I do like that dimension. You're a little off on your numbers, but I'll still give you a 4. And brace height on a longer bow like that, 6 1/8. I'd like to see it a little higher, but I'll still give you I'll still give you a 4. It would be nice if that was more like a 6.5 number. And I like to think these things would be different and a little bit more feasible and positive if they would have remade the riser instead of trying to redesign a limb pocket to make it longer. And that's why the reflex number is what it is. I haven't seen a Bowtech with reflex like that since they went to the center pivot technology. Like they haven't made one with a reflex that high, and that to me is a number that disappoints me. I'm not really happy to see that. That being said, the dimensions and specs of this bow and how it feels and the speed coming out at 333 on an average of 339, I have a hard time not giving that a 5 because that is really close. That's within 6 feet. Bow manufacturers are commonly 10 to 15 feet off on that number. So that's a good speed for the specs of that bow and what it feels like, and it's relatively honest. Tunability has the same tuning features as the other bows. It has the wheeling adjustability and timing adjustability. Nothing has that much feature in tunability, so I got to give them a 5. Now, bonus features. Yeah, it's carbon, but it's not lighter. And it's got integrated rest, but nothing else. There's no V-bar bracket, there's no nothing. So, features, you're getting a 2. Vibration, it was higher than the other two, so I'm not going to give you a 5, I'm going to give you a 4. And price, $16.99 is below PSE, it's below Hoyt. Now granted, I haven't seen their 2024 bows yet, but I will be really, really shocked if they magically got cheaper on carbon because they've gone up every year other than the second year of Hoyt. So it's a cheaper price than those, and it's right in the same price as the Elite. So I'm going to give you a... I'm going to give you a 4 on price. I think that's fair because it is a carbon bow. And it's made in the same fashion as the Hoyt is. It's made in the same fashion as the Bowtech is. So they're very similar product as far as the construction of the riser is concerned. So I think that covers all of our numbers here. We'll go 10, 15, 17, 20, 28 on the high score. Going to rank a little lower there because some of the things are a little bit lacking. Let's see how we do on the MFO. 18, 20, 28. Give you a 28. Now you notice in both of these categories, whether it's the high score or the MFO score, this bow ranks lower than the aluminum bows. It doesn't really mean I think it's a worse bow. I'm actually still very tempted by it. But the questionable part to me is it's drastically more money offsetting what it's putting out, and it has less features than the other aluminum offering. So it kind of feels like this was just to try to jazz this up and change it a little bit as opposed to redesign it. I'm not disappointed with it. I think it's probably a better option than what they made last year in the carbon bow because it's more of a dimension that a Western person would use. I just would have liked to see the riser a little redesigned rather than redoing the limb pocket, and maybe try to find a way to incorporate some of the other features that they added to the aluminum bows in the carbon bow. Maybe that's coming next year, I don't know, and they're just trying to spread it out or space it out. But that being said, that bow does feel really good, and it is definitely one I would consider. And it is less expensive than the Hoyt and the PSE. Comment down below on what you think of these videos and how ironic it is that the vibration dampeners made it vibrate more. I can't help but feel like, did I do something wrong there? I guarantee you somebody down there is going to comment and I did something wrong. I bolted them in the way they're supposed to go. They're in there like they're supposed to. I don't know what to tell you. That shocked me, but hey, it is what it is, and numbers tend not to lie. Thanks for watching.